Hello fellow herders of the blue, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to a very late Royal Retinue review. What is the Royal Retinue review? Well, for those of you that are new here, the Royal Retinue review is the time that I spend each month to give something back to my Patreons and channel members. If you want to join, just check my Patreon or become a channel member on the tier Men at Arms or above, and once a month you will be able to submit one mini that I will be correcting and giving you feedback on here on the stream. We have 7 entries today, but before we get into all of this fun, I like to always give a little bit of a tip on what's coming in the next videos. So for the next couple videos, there will be a couple of them, I have a prop that I'm going to show you, and that will be all you need to know. Okay, so moving on. Yeah, this is the real deal. I actually bought one. It wasn't cheap and it feels like crap. So stay tuned for that. We are going to use some express colors there to do something fun. Yeah, stay tuned. And after that, there will be some more videos. I will be painting some bits of Azrael on the camera, and I will be coming back to the heavy contrast very soon, as I can, get all of those other videos out of the way. I think it's time to start with the review. We have 7 entries, as I said. Very special, very different. Well, not very, but different review, because there is 2 entries from the same person, because I missed one in the past month. So let's jump with said person. We have some comments. Robert Smith says, "Hey, finally made an ARRR. Can't take that off New Year's resolution. Don't be too quick, because we're having some electrical issues in this building. So the electricity might just cut, and yours is the last one. So let's hope that doesn't happen." Let's move into the testing. We have the first mini here is from Peter, and we were going to see Peter's mini, another of Peter's minis again later on, but this is the Bretonian Count or whatever from the Underworld's Warband. Oh, we have Lores, Notorial, hello. We have Tim, Hoy, which this is a month we won't see Tim's mini, but that I'm guessing next month will be very special. We have Santh Schofield. I thought you had bought a snake weight type device, a shake weight device. No, I bought a slap chop because unlike my other colleagues, I commit to the joke with my money. So I think we should start with Peter's mini. Peter has painted Count du Val or something like that. I always forget about names. Well, we have this Blood Knight here, which is painted following my tutorial, and there are little bits that are really good, like the armor, which is fantastic. I'm not going to touch on that. And there are other... Well, we have Pointy Paints here, another YouTuber. Hello, Pointy Paints. We have here Count Duval, or whatever his Duke Duval, or whatever his name is. And as I said, there are really good things like the cloth, which I'm not going to show because it's in the back and is really good, and the armor, which is again really well done. As with these things, you can always make thinner edge highlights. You can always refine more. This is not about this. I'm going to try and give some general advice that is useful for all levels of painting. Not everyone can spend or do thin edge highlights like the heavy metal team. So we're just going to move here. My main area of concern is his face. First of all, there is a little bit of yellow that has splotched outside of the eye. It's very hard to see. His eyes are really tiny. I hope you can see that. Let me see if... Well, this is too big. Let me modify this. So the first thing we should do is actually correct this, like that. That's his actual eye. I know it's really hard to see, but that should be it, like that. After correcting that, you can see you have a little bit of texture on the face. Sometimes when you are highlighting with very light colors that have a lot of white, it's really difficult to get a smooth result, and sometimes you start over correcting and you keep on making corrections and corrections and corrections, and the paint builds up. It happens to everyone. It's happened to me, and it will keep on happening to me again and again because it's something that just happens. And faces is something that we want to make the best possible, so we insist again and again, and this causes some issues. So my first advice would be to thin your paints down more. Discharge your brush on a wet palette, on a piece of paper or a piece of cloth, whatever you use. And be sure you're doing very thin layers, especially with this kind of white colors. And second, let me just grab a very light color here, one of these, so it doesn't, to make it lighter. Okay, so the first thing that I would do is try to make your highlights more towards the upper facing surfaces. So you want to smooth this out and target the highlights towards the zenithal surfaces, basically. So like that. You can always define the lower jaw. It works really well for this kind of scale, something that I probably would avoid with larger scales, but this is not, so we don't really care. Just like that. Again, very also making sure once we are done with this that around the eye we have a very defined line. What I like to do is paint the eye itself very dark, usually with something like a black or a very dark brown, something like that, and then we can very carefully take out our yellow and do our yellow layer, just like that. And you see that having that black line around it, makes the eye pop more. You can actually see it. Instead of getting lost, you can see the difference it makes. And again, key here is very thin layers. If you are having issues using water, use Lamian medium or any other medium. I personally like Lamian medium the most. I also have glaze medium from Vallejo, but the issue I have with the glaze medium is that paints mixed with glaze medium take a very long time to dry, and I'm impatient by nature, so that doesn't usually go well with me. Okay, let's get onto the hair, and the hair. I am conflicted here. It looks like it was painted with a very matte black paint or some kind of matte varnish of some kind, because it looks really matte. And black and when a black paint is really matte, it looks gray, which is what's happening here. It looks like a dark gray. Oh, by the way, Pafufu is right. We are 32 people watching and only 7 likes. I can actually see the like counter. You better click the like counter now. Okay, let's. So I actually like very matte paints in general, except for black. I like my black a little bit satin. That's why I tend to use Abaddon black, because it's satiner. It's more satin than other colors, than other blacks. I don't know if this was maybe because of the highlight color used. You maybe use some very matte colors and you went a bit too much over the black. That can happen as well. What I like to do with the hair is concentrate the highlights on bands. So as you can see, I'm going to do a band here, and you can go really bright on the bands, as long as the rest of the hair it's very dark. Just like that, for example. And we're going to go really bright up to here, probably even more. And we are doing, I said, bands of light. all in the same plane, all in the same height. This will create an illusion of a shiny hair. You can see it here. You may not want the shiny hair, but I think it looks good. It makes hair more readable, which is what we want here. Essentially, with this, when you're painting a small scale, you really want every detail to be readable. At least that's what I prefer. Oh yeah, we have 16 likes now. Thank you very much. Another thing I'm seeing is some untidiness with the metallics. I know metallics can be difficult to highlight with, but tidying up. If you feel like you have gone out of the lines, you can always tighten them up with a little bit of the contrast, or even a little bit of brown and black paint, so we have everything under control. But apart from that, there's a very cool mini. Oh, I knew I wanted to touch onto something. The gems are a little bit not here nor there. So let me just explain what I will do. We have a very basic gradient, which is not bad here, but you went with a wide, super wide dot there. So I'm going to show you what I would have done. So I would have left this with the blue, like that. Then we can, instead of using pure white, we are going to move into a bright teal-like color, something like Bahar of blue probably, and try to do a highlight there. Same for here, let's highlight there. And then you can take the white and do a dot on the upper section like that. You can go fancy with the shapes. You can do a lot of stuffs, but a simple line is all. A simple dot is all you need, really. Jacobo's 88 says, "Hey Juan, thanks for streaming. Where can I send you the pictures?" You can send the pictures if you join my Patreon or become a channel member on the tier Men at Arms or above, and once a month you will be able to submit one picture. It's just €5 or $5 a month. It's really not that much, but it really helps me. And if you want to take part, that's how you do it. So that's it. You can see how much of a difference it makes on the gems with the highlights placed in the right places. Really, yes, places. And apart from that, it's a very cool mini, and I think you should be proud and try to improve in all those areas. So work on your gem details so they are more uniform. For example, you have the white highlight, the main highlight here instead of on the down part, so you should have basically the other way around. You can leave because the water drop, the blood drop, really, it's upside down. It should be just a dot. Let me just grab something darker. Something like this. And then just a dot there, like that. So remember that gems are highlighted depending on their position. It's not like a fixed thing, or you don't highlight all pear-shaped gems with the highlight on the wider part and the dot on the thinner part. You highlight them depending on which direction they are facing. That's very important. Otherwise, you kind of lose that cabochon gem effect that this is what it's trying to represent. But apart from that, really cool job. I really like it. Sorry for missing this on the past month, but yeah, really cool. I like it. Thank you very much for your submission, Peter, and we are going to see Peter again very soon. Let's move into the second one. Oh, Pring, hey, thanks for the tutorial. Happy to help. Whatever that tutorial was, and if it was for the gems, happy to help again. I also have a video on gems, so you should go and watch it. It is the blue club here. You can like whatever color you want. No one's perfect. And Balturo, about the matte black, I think it's the problem with varnishing gloss and then matte varnish. For example, with airbrush, what is your recommendations with mixture of gloss and matte material? What I do is I try to not varnish anything. So if I don't have to varnish, I don't. And if I have to varnish, I varnish the areas that I feel like. I mean, I choose my varnish based on what colors are there, but I try not to varnish. If I can avoid it, I won't varnish. If I need a super matte finish, I will try to use matte paints to begin with, like the new Vallejo Game Color or Vallejo Model Color or AK or Chimera or whatever other paint. And if I really want to use Citadel, which I love, then what I would do, and I really want a matte surface, I will probably do an ultra matte varnish. And if I have to reinforce the shadows again to make them stronger, because they are lost in the matte varnish, then I will reinforce the shadows after the varnish. But that is just for super high level display pieces. For the rest of stuff, I don't really care. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's see the comments here. I love to varnish my model, especially satin. Yes, satin gives a very good effect because it doesn't kill saturation of the colors, and it doesn't kill, and it still maintains a little bit of the highlights that you've done. And it looks great. When I'm varnishing armies, which is rare because I don't really paint many armies, but if I do, I use satin varnish. I use the Monitorium spray from Games Workshop, which I really like. But be careful with that spray. Varnish sprays are very temperamental, so be very careful with that. Oh, sorry. I'm getting sick. Isn't that fun? Okay, we have an amazing looking orc here. I mean, this looks like, yeah, really good. Things that I really like. Nick is improving a lot, very, very quickly. I like how he has done a directional light. You can see that the center of the light is focused around the face of the squig. Here we have a very yellowy highlight there, and it's fading away, but it's maintaining that yellow highlight here. You can see the yellow highlight here and the yellow highlight here on both of the surfaces that are facing directly to the source of light, and that is maintained and carried onto the muscles. You can see the same highlight there. The hand here is only highlighted on this side because that's the side facing the light. The same for the faces. Really cool effect, and that's fantastically well done. Fantastic, great choice of colors. I like that style with that loose brush stroke. I think it's really cool. And I also like that he has highlighted skin well, and by well I mean on a zenithal way. You can highlight any other thing, armor, cloth, whatever you want, you can highlight it in any other way. But if you are doing a skin, you need to do it right, because our brains are trained to recognize skin and faces especially very well. So if the skin is not highlighted well, we will notice. So here, for example, we have the highlight on the top section, same here on the top section, and the shadow on the bottom section. And this highlight is basically just across to the darkest shadow on top of it. So you have extreme highlight, extreme shadow, extreme highlight, extreme shadow, etc., etc., etc. Instead of highlighting on like islands, you can't highlight your skin as if they were as if each muscle was a lonely island, like a separate island from the rest. You need to accommodate for everything. So you have extreme highlight, extreme shadow, extreme highlight here, etc., etc. You have to build it in a very zenithal way, otherwise it just doesn't look good. This looks like a 3D print. It's a really cool 3D print model, by the way. So let me see what we can do here, because this is really good. I think what I would try to do. Oh, Pete is going away. Well, Pete will watch the rest. At least you watched your your vampire. Sorry that you couldn't stay for longer. So what I would try to do is maybe do a pattern. I think you did like this white dots here that I really like. I will try to, oops, I need a bigger brush now. I will try to make, oh, it's too opaque, it's too strong. I will try to make these fleshy bits on the legs blend more towards the red. Instead of doing it like a hard line, I think I would do it like this, blended. And I think I would carry this onto the hands as well. I think I would do the hands in this same color, something like that. Yeah, I like that quite a lot. It's very weird to see a squig with arms. I just noticed that. It's weird. Another thing that I would like is a bit more definition on the leather. I like that loose brushstroke. I think it's really cool, but you also need to accommodate for a bit more of a. You also need to define all of the details so they read well. And these stitches here, for example, are a good example of this. Oops. Just picking them up with a lighter color is going to improve readability a lot. Same for these stitches here, the holes in the stitches. Just a little bit. I know what you are trying to do, but I would probably pick that just a little bit so it reads better. I'm going to be suggesting very small changes here. This is really cool, so I don't want to mess a lot with this. And here I think I would go a little bit higher on my highlights on the leather, because this arm is directly in the path of the highlights. So I think I want to what the hell? Oh, okay. Sorry. I think I want to increase the highlight just in the middle here. And we can go nuts with this. Just like that. Yeah. I like that better. You can see how that extra highlight makes everything go better, because we have such an extreme contrast on the skin that if we have an area with low contrast, it makes it just stand out, not in a good way. Okay, let's see some comments here. This person needs to learn glazing, and this will just pop to the next level. Well, yes and no. I actually kind of like this sketching style. It's becoming increasingly more popular, especially if you see people like Hero or like Magma's clans that like to do these very rough sketches, and then you can refine them. But if you get the sketch right, if you get the light right, you are half of the way there for being one of the best painters in the world. Oh, Python says shortcut to change your brush size in Photoshop is using these two symbols. The issue, oh yeah, I have them here. That works? No, it doesn't. It doesn't work with mine. Sorry, I think it's because I don't have them. I have to use Alt graphic for them because my keyboard is weird because it's a Spanish keyboard. So, but thank you for the tip. Oh, happy Tuesday from Florida, man. How you doing? Tired, tired and sick, which is not a good combination. But let's keep on going with this super cool orc. Okay, more things. So we have the increase on the contrast here on this band of leather. We have the definition of some of the details better. And yeah, I really like the metallics. It's really difficult to paint good TMM. Really is very difficult. especially when you want to make it super rusty. But let me just grab a white here. We can, if we have this highlight coming from this part, this bit of the metal, even if it's rusty, would catch a bit more light. So I highly recommend you highlight this more than the rest, just like that. You can do this on top of the rust now, and be extreme with this, and you can see how that makes that more into. Oh, I have a cat here. I have a cat. Come on. Say hello to my cat. His name is Ron Weasley. Hello. Okay. Okay. He doesn't usually come in here, but here we are. I hope you like him. We have Family of Gamers. I love Family of Gamers. They are a great channel if you like games. I know them because I play Dead Zone, and they were one of the best channels for Dead Zone battle reports. So I still follow them. Great people and great channel, especially if you want to learn other games. Well, we were with these orcs. So yeah, if we are going with this directional light thingy, I think we should complete it on the metallic details as well. So if you don't have this highlight here, it's kind of lost, and we need to increase it a little bit more. But yeah, apart from that, it's really difficult to say anything bad about this. We can do the same here, for example. Oh, don't worry, Paul. Paul just joined. Paul has a mini for review a bit later. Let me just make this bigger. We can increase the highlight on the spear here, just on this point. It's like that. You can do this, as said, on top of the rust. You can see that the effect that we have is like metal reflecting from this same sort of light. Everything goes to push the light in the direction that you are trying to do. So I think that's what I would do personally. But again, man, fantastic job. This is really, really good. Apart from that, I see very little you can do. You can maybe add define the texture on the wood a little bit more. You can define the highlights on this a little bit better. Oh, let me just grab it because there's going to be noise. Wait a second, I will be back in a minute. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. My wife just came back with the kid from school, and there is going to be noise, so I want that door closed. So we have a lovely evening, peaceful evening. Okay, we have 45 people watching. Thank you very much. And yeah, that's it. Increase, if you're going to do the directional light thing, go all the way. So remember, don't miss any surface. So if this has a maximum highlight from the source of light, this should also, and if you should have the metallic here and the metallic on the spear, etc., etc., etc. But fantastic job, really, really good. Let's move into Carlos, and he also has done some directional light thing, so that's really cool. This is his best miniature, and I mean that. Carlos has been fighting and fighting to get better and better, and he has done such a good job here. Fantastic. Look at that face. That is a really well painted face. We have a beautiful purple undertones on the shadow side. We have a yellowy intense highlight on the forehead. We have every single plane of the face well defined. It looks coherent. The beard is also highlighted well. The metal surrounding it is also highlighted appropriately. You have the shadows here, you have the highlights here. Really good. Things I would probably change would be the cloth, and maybe do something extra with this gem here as you did on the head. So let me grab this. Just grab this, which is more intense. I can't say it. Okay, like that. And yeah, I know I'm awful with Photoshop. I know it. I will probably try to put probably some white inside of the recesses of the gem here, just like that, just like that, just like that. Maybe in the center more, something like that. And I'm going to grab a blue. Like that, and maybe spill this blue on top of the this detail there, something like that. I mean, grab a smaller brush and I will keep on doing the same. You can make it just darker on the tips. You can maybe tone the highlights on the sides down a little bit. But yeah, something that just so it's glowing. You have two options. You can do the same that you did here on this eye, or you can do that, which is also a good option. Whatever you prefer. I'm just giving you ideas here. As I said, what I would change is probably the cloth. Let me explain why. I'm going to grab my mid-tone highlight here. This way. Will be good. If we have our highlight coming from this side, which is very evident that we do, we need to highlight this accordingly. So this plane of the cloth should be highlighted. All this should be in highlight. So there's more. I think it went a bit too much. That I would probably do up to the crevice here. And need a smaller brush. On this side and probably on this side as well. Just there. And then you can go back with the black and tone this down a bit if you feel like it's too much, but the highlight should be there. So when we tone it down towards the bottom, increase the shadows on the opposite side. So the sides that are not facing, for example, this side should be all basically in shadow. Same for that, same for that. And we can increase the shadow here on this side as well. You can pick up the edges. I don't mind the edges being picked up. Kind of like it. When I paint cloth, I kind of do like a mixed style between heavy metal and more volumetric style, so I kind of like that detail. Something like that. So you can see that this fits better with the light of the piece than this. At least I think it fits better. And if you do this highlight here, you can also bring this blue, this turquoise blue. You can bring it, just make it here. You can bring it here on the side of the cloth. Very subtle. And you can bring it on this side of the staff here. Again, very subtle. And we can be way more aggressive with this on the metallics, because metallics, as I always say, metallics reflect light a lot. Oops. So we can do blue there, a blue spot there, something like that. Adding different sources of light is fun because we can play with the especially if you're doing like one very strong directional light like you've done. If you add other sources of light integrated into the miniature, it's going to look awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's it. You can see the changes here. It still looks like a black cloth. You can tone it down more if you want, but I like it. If you introduce a glowing pendant here, you can introduce the blues on this side, which is going to combine really well with the very strong yellowy light on this other side, etc, etc. Yeah, play with it, have fun. But really cool model. It's a real pleasure to see you evolve as a painter more and more. Carlos has been in the Royal Retinue review since the very first Royal Retinue review. So yeah, awesome. Let's move into the fourth one, which is Peter again. We have Peter for a second time. Oh, we have some comments on the squigs. Well, we will look at those later. I think Tim may be right. But yeah, I'm not going back, otherwise I won't ever finish. It has this super cool mini from the Warhammer Plus subscription. I really wanted one of this, but I have so much crap already to paint that this is not, I don't need any more. So my first thing, I really like the vibe of the thing. It looks like a Khorne Lord or a Khorne Terminator. It's filthy, it's filled with blood everywhere. The only thing that would change is the eyes. He has this goggly eye syndrome, which is, I know it's difficult, okay? So I'm not judging, but he does. So first thing I would do is trim his eyes. Just trim them down. You don't need to do anything else. Just trim them down with your face color. Maybe we'll have to change this eye a little bit. It's not in the center. And then we can take our highlight color and place it just remember, highlight your faces. Highlight your faces or something brighter than that. Anything like that. Oh, of course, I know what I've been doing wrong. Okay. So you want to place the highlight for the face just under the eye. Just there. Just there. Same for here. We want this highlighted and here. Remember, we know how faces look in real life very well. So if a face is highlighted in a wrong way, it really stands out. Kind of like this directional light here. So I'm going to keep it. And we can pick the chin as well, because it's also important. So you see the simple change has turned this mini from weird to, oh, that looks awesome. Remember, faces are the center of attention. Even if the rest of the model is very rushed, and Peter said this was a rushed paint job, but he didn't care, because not everything has to be painted to the best standard. Sometimes you want to paint something quicker, but why not? We have these more opportunities to add simple things that add a lot of interest to the model. We can take this light and make it light. So we can paint it yellow completely. We can even do some I don't know if this is like this in the model. I'm just reading what I see in the picture. So we can do this like glow around it, and then we can move into the white and do a dot in the middle like that. Again, this type of simple things add a lot without being very difficult to do. Yellow is very easy to use when you're trying to glaze with it, and that's what you want to do here. And you don't need more, a lot more than this. You can always highlight more, you can always add more stuff, but I really like it. Let's see. Drill your barrels, maybe. If you're one of the, if you don't mind undrilled barrels, I'm not going to be a Nazi about drilling your barrels. Some people don't really care. I do it, but if you don't, it doesn't really matter that much. Remember being neat and picking up stuff. Okay, so we have a chaos symbol here, and it's not even picked up with the gold paint. You can leave the rest around it dark, but I would pick the chaos symbol. At least that. And yeah, a lot of blood, a lot of fun stuff. Yeah. We can add some of this brown as a wash into some of the recesses. Let me grab a bigger brush. Don't be afraid to put this environmental color, this brown, into the crevices of the legs and make it dirty. Because this is, I mean, he's been. This looks like a mud, so it should be making all his feet filthy. If we're going to go with filth, we can just lean on that heavily. You can increase that, and you can use pigments, you can use washes, you can use whatever you want, something like that. But yeah, my biggest thing here is focus the attention when you're doing simple pieces. You don't want to spend 1,000 years on them. The best thing to do is paint the face really well, or as best as you can. Add one extra detail or a couple of details that are easy to do and grab attention, like the glow on this light here. Instead of doing a gem, glow always looks more attractive. And you do that and you paint the face better, and it suddenly looks so much better. It looks like a different miniature. Just with those couple of changes there. Very simple stuff. Okay. Let's move on to the fifth one, which is Pete. And Pete has... this is not Peter, this is Pete. Let me just be clear there. We have a Pete and we have a Peter. Peter has submitted this Oni. And the first thing, I mean, is really cool. I like it. The skin looks cool. I really like the face. The face is really well highlighted. But I think he's lacking a little bit of contrast all around. And a little bit of variation. It's all too brown. We have a red skin. We have the very prominent gold armor. And then it's just all like brown. So how can we improve? So I think we should take a lesson out of Nick and increase the contrast a little bit in the right places. So I'm going to apply, let me make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to apply some shading like this. Again, focused on the lower sections with a bit more personality. Yeah, that's it. That was just black. So we are going to increase the shadows quite a bit, but also the highlights. So and placing them in the right places, like here, just across the shadow. Remember, don't treat your skin as islands. Treat them as a whole, something complete. Like that. Like that, a little bit of highlight there. And you can see that it makes a big difference from flat to wow, that looks awesome. And if you feel like you've lost a little bit of the red, which is a valid point, let me just grab something red. I want to use the same red, but it's hard to get like that. Let me just turn this down. You can glaze a little bit of the red to gain back a little bit of this redness. Let me just use something more red. Yeah, there you go. You can glaze this and tone down the highlights and gain back some of that red if that's what you want. There you go. Remember, like that. More contrast is usually better. And what would I do extra apart from that? So we have the skin sorted out. I think the wood needs something. I think it needs something. And what I like to do with wood is add moss, verdigris, not verdigris, just a little bit of green. We're going to give something olive here. Yeah, something like that. So we want to add a little bit of something extra to the. I need more opacity to the wood because it's just too flat. So you can do just a wash with green, just here near the where this metal bracket is, and add it, just flood a little bit on the crevices, just randomly. Don't think too much. We can add it on here as well if you want to continue for that theme. That is optional. But I would 100% do it on the weapon that he's using. This is like it's part of like a side of a temple. Just like that, just like that, and just like that. You can see how much of a difference that green makes. Complements the red super well, and it adds more interest. And we can build this up. If you want this to be gold, okay, but you may want to consider it to be verdigris. That might be a cool option. So we can add some oxidation on the symbol, on the recesses. This adds color and adds again adding variation to a boring paint job. That may not be what you want. Oh, we can also add some rust. Yay! Let's add some rust. So we can add some rust onto this, because if this is weathered, we can add some rust onto these metal brackets and pit it and make it disgusting and filthy. Yeah, like that. Look at that. How much of a difference it makes. Just adding a little bit of verdigris, a little bit of moss, a little bit of rust. It really makes a massive impact on how the miniature suddenly turns into something more pleasurable to see. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for your submission, Pete. I hope that was useful. And we are going to move into Olivia. And Olivia has sent us a Rogal Dawn, which is a shame because it's not the original one, because it doesn't have a massive hole on his back. So that's a bit of a shame, but we can all understand it. Apart from not having a hole, it's a fantastic paint job. The only thing I would change, I mean, like, look at the armor. It's beautiful. I think he followed Richard Gray's video, which it just shows, and it's magnificent. Like, I can't say anything about the armor, and he's like 100% armor. It's like 90% armor, so I can't say anything about that. It's just fantastic. I feel like he's missing some highlights in some places, so let's add them. I'm going to go for the easiest stuff and then see if I get some inspiration back. Okay. So this black piece here looks like it's not finished. So adding some gray highlights here and here. Brighter highlight. Like that. Picking the edges. I'm just guessing here, I don't know how that piece is. But yeah. Something like that. So that's an easy fix. I also feel, because I've been looking at this, apart from this, the face is pretty good. I'm not going to change the face. Nice beard effect, nice everything. I think I would change a little bit of the cape. From the back it looks like it's lacking some shadow. Here it looks fine because of the picture. But from the back it looks like it's lacking a little bit of contour. So I suggest you go up to pure black on the shadows, and then you can highlight the cape in a more realistic way. And I'm going to show that here. So yeah, it's really nice. If you have this fold here, which is really well highlighted, just there, you see how your lights are casting light here on the shadow. This is from the studio lights. That is telling you that it's lacking highlight there. Just there. And there as well. Just like that. Just like that. I know this looks weird, and it looks weird because I haven't because this is not blended. Let me see if I can fix my own fix. I need to make this. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, like that. There you go. We increase the shadow there. Go like that. So like that. We also need to add more of this highlight towards here. Yeah, there you go. Same here. Yep, I like that very much. So you need to understand that cloth. Let me do a quick explanation of what I'm doing here. I promise I will be back to the beautiful Rogal Dawn in a minute. Okay, let me put this here. Let me increase this here. Okay, so if we have a cape that is like this, I'm going to do the easy demonstration here, but this applies to everything essentially. You have a cape that is here, and there is a light coming from this direction. Of course, the top of the folds, I'm going to do the negative, so I'm going to mark the highlights. Of course, this and this is going to catch the light because it's essentially all of the surfaces that come in perpendicular to the light. So any part that is like this is going to be the maximum highlight. So of course there's going to be a highlight here just on the top of fold and a highlight here just on the top fold. But it is also very interesting because this section here is also perpendicular to the light. So light will be catching in the recess here, like that. That's how cloth looks in the real world, and that's not usually how we paint it, but it's a good exercise to try to incorporate more realistic painting on stuff like cloths and faces and skin and stuff like that, because that's the stuff we recognize immediately. So there you go, some nice highlights. We can probably me just grab this intense red. What do we have here? Have it here. We can probably. Oh, what is my? I'm in the wrong layer. Whoa. Okay, sorry. Yeah, we can make this stuff will not be so dark because everything should be coming. Something like that. Something like that. Yeah, much better. I like that. So that's essentially the main theory. Pin this down and oh yes. Now we're talking. Just like that. A bit more. This is too low. Yeah. Yes. Something like that. That looks way more realistic than this. Why? Because the cloth is highlighted as cloth would be highlighted in the real world. Simple as that. You have and that's the only thing I would change from this and finish the sword, of course. The rest is fantastic. This is like, wow. Look at this smoothness. So smooth. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job. So, I think we should move into the last one, which is Robert. And I think we've finally getting to Roberts. And is Robert still in the chat? I don't know if Robert's still in the chat. Maybe. But we're going to give him some tips. Let me just see this model. Oh, he is here. They have to follow the. Yes, sorry. I put all of my submissions in the order that I get them. So yours was last, and thus you get just behind Dawn. Sorry. But it's a really cool space wolf. I really like it. So you've gone to the extent of filing down all of the detail on the shield, which is a lot of work. You have quite a decent edge highlighting and some recess shading. Looks cool. I like it. Yeah, it was brutal. Yeah, filing. Yeah, I mean, doing this is oh my god, so much work. I don't know what I have done. I would probably just file it down completely with a file and then try to fill the gaps. I don't know what you did exactly. Paul Mackay, let me just check. Okay, so I think we're missing one submission. Let me just check before we do. One moment, please. Okay. I may have missed them. That could have been. But we are still on time, Paul. Review. Paul. They are not here. Are they in the spam? No. Where are they? Let me just. Can you send them back again, Paul? Because I don't see it. Send them back, please, Paul, and I will review them after Robert, because I can't find them anywhere. Let me just see if I. No, I haven't. It's not even on the trash. No, I don't know what has happened. But they are not in my email, so this is just all spam, like real spam. So much spam. There was. Oh my god. We have another one that's in the spam, that's a real Retinue review submission, like a real one. Okay. This is not spam. Okay, that's not nice. But I can't see Paul's. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to solve an issue. Don't want anyone getting missed. No, I don't see your email in the spam folder. There was one in the spam folder. I have an email from Michael Jordan. That's awesome. What does Michael Jordan want? Oh, he wants to purchase some of my art for $5,000. Yeah, of course he wants. Okay. I don't see it. Send it again, Paul, please. Sorry about that. Let me just solve one issue. Okay, let me just put us in the live feed so you don't see all of my embarrassing crap. Okay. Okay. Where's the other one? Okay, here he is. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're missing yours, right? It's here. It's here. Okay. Yeah. Let me just grab this. This will be after Robert, so we have time for Paul to send the things again. Let me know. You should have it now. Let me just check back and see if I see it. Okay. I still don't see it. I don't know why. Oh, it is in the spam folder. This is not spam. Okay. Let me just take that back. Download the image. Sorry, my other monitor is where I paint, so it's a bit mess. It's a bit of pain in the ass. Yeah, we have Paul. So we have 9 entries. This is going to be awesome. Okay, this is Paul. Whoa, wow. we are in for a treat. Thank you, Paul, for that, for letting me know. It came into the spam. Maybe it was in the spam and I didn't saw it. Okay, that shouldn't happen again. Let's keep on with Robert. Sorry, Robert, for the intermission here. That wasn't nice. So we have some very nice edge highlights. What we are missing a little bit is a bit of contrast in these surfaces. Oh, size. There you go. Now we are in the business. So what I see is a very flat surfaces. If you like that, if you want that heavy metal look, that's fantastic. But I think you can go a little bit extra on the shading. Let me grab. I think I'm going to grab like a warm color, something like. What's the name? I always forget. Is that brown? Karak brown? Is that a brown color? Okay, Karak stone, and we are going to do some. You can glaze it towards the lower sections of the white. I think we need, due to the picture, I think we need to make it a little bit stronger. A little bit more orange. Okay, something like Baneblade brown then. And you can glaze it onto the. Oh crap! I hate this. I hate Photoshop with a passion. So you can glaze this on the white surfaces here towards the bottom. So we have like a kind of a gradient, especially important for the white. I feel like. Same here. It's not going to show a lot because it's in actual shadow, but you want to glaze this towards the bottom bits. You can also glaze it towards the sides of the cross of the shield here, something like that. I hope you can see what I mean about that. And on the blue armor, we have this nicely rust blue. You have two options. You can I feel like if you don't want to create any contrast, I kind of like browns for the walls. Let me just grab something like Rhinox hide or something. And you can do like the tiniest glaze of brown on the lower parts. I think this complements the wolf's gray very well. These highlights are really well done, like fantastically precise. Well, I'm going to touch on them a little bit. So we kind of go there. It's hard to do with this, but a little bit there. And I think you went to this color more or less for your highlight. I think you can go much brighter. So let me turn this down. Let me turn this up. Let me turn this up. Also, we need smaller. And you can just on the upward facing edges, you can increase this. You have the brush control to do it, so I'm not afraid of this. I'm guessing, Tom, that if we are having a good time, so you want to submit it. The deadline was yesterday, but if you want to submit it, given that it's been very rushed, this production, you can. So send. You know where the instructions are, so or you should. You can see the difference that makes. You can increase your edge highlight color quite a bit. Yes, yeah. So for example, here, for example, you can bring it there. Here, for example, you can bring it there. Here you can also bring it there. Same for the edge, etc., etc. The picture is not the best, but I can see pretty well. So yeah, you can again increasing, doing some dots and stuff like that. So you can basically what you need to do is increase the contrast. Essentially, if you want to go for the super clean heavy metal look, you can avoid this, but go for the extra edge highlights. He really needs some extra edge highlights if you're going to go for that thing. Something that the heavy metal team does, and they do this for the wolves because I've seen it, is they do some washes on the recesses with brown. They do that, and I think it looks awesome. Is this the? Yeah, this is about. Oops. So they take something like Dumble brown. Oops. Is this doing something? Oh, I'm erasing. Sorry, what an idiot. So they do this wash with this brown on the recesses on their official models, and I think it looks great. So again, introducing reddish browns helps with the definition. It helps with the tone and color contrast, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, that's basically it. So increasing, especially when you have such a big surface of white, like or bone color, adding some gradient glazed in on towards the bottom and the sides will help create, a bit more of a rounded look. And I think it really helps. You can see the heavy metal team doing that more and more and more. I feel like the Horus Heresy box set was a massive jump in terms of that. It was like, wow, yeah. They started adding these volumetric highlights into their Space Marines. Oh, sorry. And you can see that more and more now, too. yeah, thank you, Robert, for submission, and I really hope to see it for corrections. If you want to show it to me, if you do something to him, or if you use that for the next models, I suggest you do some testing. So we move into this was Rag. He was in the chat. Yeah, he was in the chat. And look at this. Like, this is amazing. He's been doing this fully converted. Some of the conversions are insane. Undead Blood Bowl team, and he's developing his style more and more and more and more. And each piece he submits, it's a little perfection on a little improvement on the last one. Things I love the skin. We have some purples in the shadows. We have this saturated green with some purples in the shadows, some reds, some blues. It's beautiful. Then we have this OSL. I don't know where it's coming from, but it looks amazing on the leg. Look at that. That is just perfection. Same here. We have this blue hue reflecting just on that side of the stone. Beautiful. I always say the same. I don't like the blue pants if you're going to add blue lights, but I get it. You already started with that, and you kind of have to commit to those. There is really very little I can tell you to improve. This is such a perfection on your style. I think the pants feel a little bit flat, which it can happen with blue. Such a pain in the ass color to do. I think I would do some texture on the pants and try to increase the volumetric highlights. Just like that. I'm picking this up. I think he's painting this with oils, which I'm trying to learn. I have a video on oils that it's in the pipeline. But my pipeline is very big. That's what she said. It's not really. It's normal pipeline. We can move on to even a brighter blue, just for the upper sections. And I think I will include this. So to find the instructions, we'll have to do it next time. Sorry, I can't help you right now. It should be when you join the Patreon or you became member. This should be on the welcoming message. We can do it for the next month. Don't you worry. So something like this, because we have a lot of contrast. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. We have a lot of contrast on the. Oh, I did it. I did it on the original one. Yeah, the rush. I'm rushed. Okay, so this is the original one, and everything looks awesome, but the pants can feel flat. So this is what I would do. I don't think I would touch anything else. This is I think it's Christian's own style, and is a almost perfect rendition of what he's been doing for a very long time. You can see the refinement on his technique and his style. I like it, so I don't think it would change, but I would highlight the pants a little bit more. Oops, sorry. From yeah, it's going to be annoying. From this to this, be sure that all of the elements have kind of the same amount of contrast, so they read better. It doesn't look flat and all that nice stuff. But yeah, really nice job. Really nice. Oh, I know what I want to do, and I just saw that. I think you should add. This is a highlight painted on. I think it is. It is painted on now. Then I can't say anything. I thought this was a reflection of the shiny paint onto the camera, but no, this is painted on. Yeah, go nuts. Fantastic job, Christian. Thank you very much for your submission. And apparently we're going to move to the last one, which is Paul's. And will you look at that? This is something else. What a display. These swords are beautiful. the diamonds are really well done. I really like this a lot, and they are elder, which is, you know, a little piece of my heart there, for sure. Oh boy, let me just look at them a little bit more. Paul has been improving increasingly for a very long time, and each submission is better than the last. And when he paints something that is not a awful cast of an old historical miniature, he does stuff like this. Yeah, very nice. Sorry, you can just leave us alone here. I'm just going to be looking at this picture for a while. So let me just, okay, now being serious, let me just grab this yellow. What I would do is probably increase the highlights on the yellow, especially on the shoulder pads, a little bit more. The yellow, for example, here on this knee pad is perfect. That's the amount of contrast you want for the yellow. But places like this, feels a bit flat. So I would, you know, add this kind of highlight here and there. You know, same that you did here. You can highlight the pieces of the cloth that are facing upwards, something like that, and probably like that. And then you can move into a pure white here and do the same. Just grab a smaller brush, and you can probably move into pure white and do that same highlight. That's kind of what it feels like it's lacking. It's the only thing that I can feel it lacking. There you go. And same for the other ones. You see, you did it here on the leader, which I'm guessing that's the point, but this is not like a separate unit. This is not for gaming. This is clearly done for display. I love that full perspective that you did. It's fantastic. And you did for the leader here, but you kind of didn't do it for the rest of the models. At least do it for the guys that are in the front row. That does really make a difference. Okay, the black is good. The crests are good. Metallics are good. My man. Oh, you know what you can do? Let me just do this. You can grab like something like Ruthuan Grey. I like to use Ruthuan Grey. It works very well for this. So something like this. And you thin it down a lot. So like a very thin glaze or like a heavy glaze. And then you just do a very thin line. It's very important here that you move your brush and you end the brush stroke where the highlight needs to be. So in this case, this is for highlighting this pattern here. So you see that highlight that you have here on this leg? That is great, but that isn't on this side. So what you can do, if you do it right, is just I need a little bigger brush than this. No, smaller than this. Okay, I think this is going to be it. You end the brush stroke where you want the, say, one more paint, and you do it again, but concentrating it towards that place there, and it kind of feels like it's the cloth shade. You don't have to do it. I would understand 100% that you didn't want to do this, but it's something that it's usually done, and I think it looks really cool. But I will leave that to you because this is a very risky thing to do. So, for example, here I would probably do it like there, yeah, and like there, like there, and you can pick up like the knee there. You see what I mean? How much of a difference I'm going to make this one thicker because I realized it was too thin. There you go. You see what I mean here? How much of a difference it makes? It kind of makes that the pattern is not flat. It has some volume. And it kind of feels like it goes with the same type of cloth than the rest of the model. You can also do this here. Oh, it says with Russian, you have sent the wrong picture. The edited one's gem on the head of the left figure is now red and painted properly. Whoa, love that. Yeah. So this is the kind of thing you have to do. It's risky, but you have already painted that pattern once. I think you could do it again if you do it wrong. The heavy metal team does it when they do cables like those stripy yellow and black cables. They do that highlight. Go and look for it. It's very evident that it's done afterwards, just with a light color. And if you have the paint thin enough and you have not very much paint on your brush, you can do it. And you have to build that effect with several layers. You don't have to do it like a white line right away. You have to do a small transparent line and then insist. And each time you do another pass, it has to focus on a smaller area until you have that pure highlight, and it looks awesome. Don't worry too much about the gem there. I'm sure they look fantastic. I mean, they look great now. So that would be the main advice. Let me just do this one here so you can see another example. So first pass, and you keep on building that effect. And same here. So pass, 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 pass. Pass, 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 pass. You can do something similar with a brush, and you see how much of a 3D effect it does. It just makes them match with the rest of the model and makes them more readable. And just try to do what you would have done on the black. Just think what you have done in the black and just do that. You can highlight here, for example, there. Just maybe the edges, picking out the edges with a single color or something like that. You can see the difference that makes. It just brings them to the very next level. These are awesome. Yeah, so close of being amazing. Another thing you can do is add environmental light onto your no, not on this one, onto your swords. I know the swords are meant to be like a black stone or something like that, but you can do. Let me just grab like this, maybe something like that. Okay, so we can add some hues onto the sword. So, for example, this is again super optional, because this may not fit with what you have in mind for them, but something that I've been playing with. So any part of the sword that is facing upwards, you can do a small glaze of blue. So that would be there, and also this curve which is curving in this direction, this will also catch a little bit of blue. And then each part that is facing downwards, you can add a little bit of the earth color. So we have it here, let's change it, and we can add some earth tones, for example here. Looks good, something like that. And you can keep on adding this environmental light onto the sword. So you may not like this may not be what you want, but I think it's cool, especially if the swords are facing down like this. This is a fantastic opportunity to introduce these browns here, because the sword should be reflecting, if it's metal, should be reflecting these surfaces. Here, for example, we should do is completely facing upwards, so we can add this blue, and etc, etc, etc. You get the idea of what I'm going for there. Another thing that I've been doing, which I basically stole from Mamicon, just do. This is a bit more difficult. It's not super hard, but it's a bit more difficult. So you take something like Aberland Sunset. Let me just, yeah. And you where the maximum light is, which is here on this point of the sword, which should have a maximum blackness on the other side. You kind of do like a circle, and then you just take pure white, and you do this like this, and then you take pure white, like super pure white, and you do the final dot in the middle like that. You can see that it looks like the sun is reflecting, like this shine from the sun on the flat surface of the blade, stuff like that. You can add so much life into NMM swords, but this might not be what you want, so have a thought about it. But yeah, I would, if you feel brave enough, I will do these highlights on the patterns on the Harlequins. But yeah, really nice, Paul. You should be proud of this display. I would love to have that on my shelf. It's that good. It's really awesome. So thank you very much, everyone. Let me put it back to work. Thank you very much for coming and for staying with me in this review. Let me just grab my statistics. I like to see my statistics. Okay, there you go. Okay, hey, come with me. So we have 46 people watching right now. It's been quite an amazing review. A little bit troublesome with some missing entries. I really hope everyone that submitted a picture is in here. But yeah, sorry about that. You know, damn spam filters from Google. It's been crazy how many spam emails we are getting lately. I think it was something to do with Twitter, which there was like a filtration of the emails, and it's been a nightmare. But thank you all very much for coming here. I think I'm going to go spend some time with my family. Oh, Carlos is here at the party, but that means more views later. Yeah, go and check your review. Like I said, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.